What up, y'all? Welcome to the Underground Sound, the podcast for your mom's ass. On this episode, we're going to be talking with my man Snake Ey3z, an independent rapper and an independent pro wrestler out of the state of Wisconsin. We're going to be talking to Snake Ey3z all about his wrestling career, how he got started as a backyard wrestler, how he got trained by former WWE superstar Hornswoggle. We're going to talk all about the Wisconsin independent wrestling scene, his thoughts and views about it. Then we're going to jump over and we're also going to be talking about his rap career, talking about how he got his start with local rapper Hands On, how he got involved with the Wisconsin clique known as Wicked Wisconsin, the horrorcore crew out of there. And we're going to be talking a little bit in detail about the not too far recently deceased Geno Cult Shit, one of the greatest talents that I've ever heard from the local region around there, and what he meant to the area and Snake Ey3z as well. It's going to be a really good conversation. We had a lot of fun, and Snake Ey3z definitely doesn't hold anything back. He's got a lot of fans, but he's also got a lot of detractors, and he's going to talk all about it and get it all off his chest. We had a lot of fun. He's my man, and I can't wait for y'all to hear it. But before we get into that, I want to throw out a couple rare plugs here. I want to shout out our YouTube channel, Your Freedom Channel. That's youtube.com/Your Freedom Channel. That's where you're going to find all of these podcasts and all the other different projects that I've done, that Freedom Entertainment has done as well. You're going to see a lot of music there. You're going to see a lot of video content. It's a great visit, and hopefully you'll get lost in that mix for a little while. And then I also want to plug our Facebook. It's going to be facebook.com/Your Freedom Entertainment, and we call it yours because it's your freedom, your entertainment. It's not mine. I don't get entertained by it. I don't even like the shit, but I do it for you. I'm just kidding. I love it. I love myself. And then finally, I want to shout out myself for working so goddamn hard. Me and Lucas James, the person from the last podcast you heard, we've been working real hard in the studio recording some new music. That's right, I got a new album that I'm working on. I've pretty much finished the vocals on the first project. It's going to be called the Bad Guy EP. It's the most ruthless, heartless, soulless, most offensive, most snowflake melting, slap you in your baby bitch face record that I've ever done. It's sure to offend everybody. It has absolutely no redeeming qualities. There's not one line on that record or one song where you're going to go, yeah, I really understood where he was coming from there. No, the whole thing is going to offend you silly. There's a lot of great raps on there, some great hooks. It's all around great music, but it's made to offend all you pretty little snowflakes out there, and I hope it does. And Lucas James also working on his record. We're working on a Hokum record, and I got another EP followed behind The Bad Guy, which will be the most personal, most inward-looking, most revealing record I've ever done. A complete 180 from the Bad Guy EP. So a lot of new shit coming your way, new podcasts, new everything. We're throwing it all at you. It's going to be a great time. But enough about me and my bullshit. You came here to listen to the interview. Check out Snake Ey3z right now. Right now. Listen to it. Now. What the fuck you waiting for? So yeah, I want to start with a story. I was on my way out of work today, here with Snake Ey3z, and I was on my way out of work. I stopped in the bathroom to take a piss, and some dude came in right behind me, and there's like 3 pissers on the wall, right? So I want to ask you a little bit about piss bathroom urinal etiquette, because this dude, there's 3 urinals in a row. The dude took the urinal right next to me. I'm on the far left. He didn't go to the far right. He came right next to me. And then not only did he pee right next to me, but he farted just out loud, didn't try to hide it, just shit his pants, and fucking like nothing happened. Didn't say nothing, didn't apologize, none of that shit. So was he ribbing me? Is this proper urinal etiquette? What's going on with this here, Snake Eyes?
I think he may have been on some bath salts.
You might have been on bath salts?
I think so. Common sense says go to the far opposite side.
Even if there's a divider wall, there, does that separate? Does that make it safe to pee next to somebody, or do you still go to the next step down?
I still go next step down.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if there were two people there, right, and one was on the far left, one was on the far right, I will go and take a piss in the stall instead of pissing in the middle of the two people, even if there's divider walls. I think it's, if there's women listening, they don't understand proper urinal etiquette. You don't piss next to him. It's not really a gay thing. I'm not necessarily scared he's going to be staring at my cock or that will, cross the streams or anything, but, it's just proper etiquette, you know what I'm saying? And then to fart, to shit his pants while he's taking a piss, did he not notice that I was there? Would you shit your pants in front of somebody? Is it because we're in a bathroom it's okay to shit your pants? Or should you still hold that in if you're in front of somebody? A stranger.
I'm still pinching it if there's a stranger in there.
Right, you're pinching it. Maybe you'll pretend to pee a little bit longer until they leave and then shit your pants. Or try to leave first and then shit your pants out in the hallway. It was just really awkward. It was. And I almost laughed. I almost said something. But what do you do in that situation, to be honest? It's kind of strange.
I probably would have laughed. That's the case.
Right, yeah.
And if it was a good one, I would have said, good one, bro, good one.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm here with Snake Eyz, independent rapper, independent wrestler out of the state of Wisconsin. We're here on the Underground Sound, the podcast for your mom's ass. We're talking with all the different independent arts, the folks in independent arts and entertainment. And Snake Eyz, that's why I wanted to have you on, especially because, I've interviewed rappers, I've interviewed wrestlers. You're the first that's really both. I interviewed Brandon Cage. He's had wrestling matches, but you're a legit, wrestler. You've had multiple matches. You work the indie circuit. So I want to talk to you all about all that shit. And, you're just one of the cool peeps that I've worked with and known on the scene, too. So wanted to get you on the show and see what's up with you lately. So how you been doing, man?
I've seen a lot of brighter days, but I'm hanging in there. Still got a sore back and bad neck from the days of the wrestling scene, which is why I kind of stepped away from it. But recovering, got a 6-month-old baby at home I'm watching grow up right now, so kind of kicking back right now, taking things in one day at a time, doing a lot of fishing.
Yeah, I see that. A lot of fishing pictures and that sort of thing. Fishing was never my thing. I'll eat a lot of fish. I'll eat the shit out of a fish, but not really that big of a fisherman. So that's something that just kind of gives you peace, just your way to get away from things.
But yeah, it's a way to get peace, and it's more of a pride thing. I actually don't eat any of the fish I bring home. I prepare them for the wife and kids, and they eat them. And it's more of a pride thing. You're feeding your family off of something. It's just like hunting, especially in the wintertime. You actually have to find where they are. Then you can't just go sit in the boat and get drunk all day. You actually have to do work to figure out where they are.
Do you hunt too then, or no?
Negative. I'm a felon, so I can't run a gun, so that takes out half of the hunting.
Right on.
Season,
Not allowed to have the old firearm, right?
Yep.
Fair enough. How come you don't eat fish? Do you not like them, or is it just what's up with that?
Dude, I will eat the shit out of a McFish fillet every time, but I will not eat the fish that I catch. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I have no clue. I have no problem cutting up a deer and putting it on the frying pan, but a fish, no, you couldn't pay me enough to eat it.
Fair enough. So I wanted to start with, just kind of a brief introduction. I laid it out a little bit. You're a wrestler, you're a rapper, but just kind of for anybody that isn't really familiar with who you are, just kind of give a brief little short bio on who is or what is Snake Eyes.
Sure. Well, for starters, I definitely was not supposed to make it in the scene at all. Basically just due to my size and just the type of person I am. But other than the random indie workers that would help me train, I basically trained myself in a ring with no ropes in my own backyard. And in 06, I went and got trained and did all the fun things like that. And then I kind of said, screw this, and went back to the small little garage-style wrestling events and took 2 years off, came back, and had a pretty good run out in Minnesota and won a couple of belts out there, did a couple of nice spot shows out there, and worked the Wisconsin Indies the last 2 years straight, and now I'm successfully sitting at home with a bad back and a bad neck.
Right on. Well, we'll get all into the wrestling career and stuff. We'll talk all about the things you just mentioned. Where did you get the name Snake Eyes? How did you come up with that, or who gave that to you?
The very first little, I don't really want to call it yarding, because it was just a bunch of kids with mattresses laid out, and they were doing wrestling moves on each other, but one of the kids came up to me and said, "Oh, dude, your name should be Snake Eyes," and to not be confused with a G.I. Joe, I switched some of the lettering around and personalized it a little bit, and kind of just stuck, I guess. I'm not really the creative type of person to come up with a nickname that'll sound cool, and that one just kind of worked out in my favor, I guess.
Right on. So that's something that you took with you into your rap game, into the wrestling game. It just kind of stuck with you from the moment of the backyard wrestling.
Correct. Yeah. It just seemed foolish to go by a total different name just because I'm doing a different form of entertainment. When music and wrestling pretty much go hand in hand the way it is anyway. So I just kept it the name simple, and
they are really similar. Me being involved in both too, the wrestling and the rapping. There's certainly they're different types of performance art, but at the end of the day, there's a whole lot of similarities that are there with it. One of the things I've noticed, and I'll ask your opinion on that. I tend to think the people in wrestling are a little bit cooler, a little bit friendlier. Maybe you haven't had that same experience, but I think there's a lot more ego and flexing and that sort of thing, beefing in the rap game. Everybody kind of wants to be on top and jock for position, whereas in wrestling, everybody just seems to be a little bit more chill. Have you felt the same or seen the same, or do you got a different perspective on that?
I think it's more of a scene thing. Like, it wasn't so bad when I was wrestling out in Minnesota. Those guys were all, they were cool in their spot. They knew where they needed to be on the show and everything like that. It seems like Wisconsin scene, it's a little more, I'm the best, and let me show you this, and I work out this many times a week, so I'm better than you, and I drink this much protein, so I'm better than you. And there's a lot of you're going to have egos no matter where you go, no matter what type of job you do. You're going to have egos, and you're going to have people that just think their shit don't stink. And I don't know. I was just one of those guys that I stuck to my opinion and never really strayed away from it. And with the music, the horrorcore scene's kind of the ego-driven scene. Whereas the real hip-hop scene, everybody wants to work together and they want to be a movement and join as one to take over. And everything just depends on the scene that you're working in, I think.
Right. So, were you involved in wrestling first? I don't know if you'd count backyard wrestling necessarily, because I was like 7 backyard wrestling, But I guess, just starting out on your path, were you involved in wrestling first, or were you involved in rapping first? And how did you get started into rapping?
Well, if we're going by wrestling or by non-backyard, I think wrestling still has it by about 3 years. I think I was 18 when I got pro training. I was 21 when I started doing music. But I used to write a lot of poetry back in middle and high school. Got published in a few books and everything else like that. I mean, I've been writing since I was 8 or 9, something like that. And then wrestling started when I was about 16. So I'm gonna have to give the edge to wrestling on all avenues. With the music, the way I started was my buddy Hands On hit me up. Shoot, it had to be a week before my 21st birthday. He was looking for a hype man for his music, and he knew that I like to be in front of a crowd and entertain and everything like that. And I think it was a week after I turned 21, I did my first show. I said like 3 words and didn't know any of his lyrics and thought I made an ass of myself, but came back 2 weeks later, did another show, and just kind of went off from there. And after I got done learning the way of the stage and how to entertain people, I started writing on my own and recording on my own and producing on my own, and kind of turned out pretty well.
I find that pretty interesting because that's very, very similar to how I got into it. In like junior high and high school, I was a writer. I'd write a lot of poetry, like you said. I was moving into even writing rap songs, but I never actually rapped or anything. And then I had a friend who was a rapper, wasn't necessarily in the market for a hype man, but I kind of just joined up with him on a show, sucked ass my first time or two, just kind of started under his wing and then grew off onto my own. So pretty much almost the exact same path. That's pretty cool. So Hands On, you would credit to being the person that got you into the rap game.
Correct. Oh yeah, 100%.
Right on. What's your relationship like with Hands On now? He's still pretty busy in the scene, and looks like he even just started his own record label or got serious about a record label trying to sign people. What's going on with that? What's your relationship like with him, and how's all that going right now?
Well, he got signed himself to Deep Thrash Productions of Georgia. They're a country hip-hop record label out that way. I still rock shows with them whenever I can, basically. I know we did right before New Year's this year. We did a few shows. I did a Mudbog show with them last year, and that was probably the craziest event I've ever done a show at. It blew my friggin' mind. There were girls walking around with pet raccoons. That's how you know you're in the middle of nowhere. Nowhere in bumfuck Egypt when girls are walking around with their harnessed fucking raccoons and shit. But yeah, we still kick it. We talk almost every week. I mean, he's still my brother. The Major Cause thing, I guess, yeah, he's trying to bring that back. It was something we had going back in 2009, 2010, something like that. And now that he's off doing his own avenue, he wants to try to bring up the next class of hip hop artists in the area and help them out by using his name to help them.
Right on. And I seen, or you had said earlier that there's a difference, at least in the Wisconsin area, between the straight hip hoppers and the horrorcore kids. There's definitely a big scene of both. You kind of seem like, at least from my perspective over in Michigan, you're kind of in the middle there. You're working both scenes. I never really seen you as like a straight horrorcore kid. You definitely have more of a hip hop style, but you're still kind of in that horrorcore group. You were or are loosely associated with the Wicked Wisco. Kind of define your style of music and where it walks that line between just your old school classic hip hop style compared to a more horrorcore Wicked style.
Well, with the horrorcore and the hip hop scene, I mean, I think the reason why my music blends so well in the middle is because I got the horror elements along with the verbiage to go with the hip hop heads. The way my buddy used to say it is, I'm kind of like back in the day when Tech Nine would perform in front of the Juggalos and all that stuff, and he kind of found his spot with them, even though he wasn't really a horrorcore artist.
Right.
They kind of compared me to something like that, and I kind of thought that was pretty wicked, insanely cool, because Tech Nine's one of my influences in music and everything, and you know, it's cool when you can go to one show and people are wearing, you know, overalls and flannels and stuff like that, and then you can go to another show and people got, you know, crazy contacts and face paint and stuff like that on it. It's a cool blend, man. I wish every scene could just have a festival where like one person from each of these little genres comes and just everybody gets in one. It would just be beautiful. It would be beautiful.
Do you have any kind of prejudice or bias towards the horrorcore style? Because I know myself, growing up, you know, like in high school and everything, I was a huge juggalo. You know, I still keep tabs on the scene, follow it, I'll listen to some of the music, but I wouldn't say I'm a juggalo anymore. You know, I don't go to the shows and dump Faygo over my head and paint my face or anything. But starting to be a rapper at the same time, I felt people, and of course my style's kind of wild as well. I wouldn't say I'm horrorcore, but I'm definitely, you know, kind of out there. And I feel when people compare me to like ICP or say like I'm a horrorcore guy, I don't like that, and I have a little bit of a prejudice against horrorcore. I'm not big into the, you know, bloody murder, people eat bodies type shit, but at the same time I'm kind of, I guess, you know, familiar with the scene or tied to it. Do you have any opinion in that area?
I used to take offense to it, but at the end of the day, I mean, people are going to say I'm a chopper rapper. Some people are going to say I'm a real life hip hop artist. Some people are going to come to horrorcore. However they want to see me, you know, whatever, however the shoe fits, just wear it. But like my baby mama tried to use the fact that I was in the horrorcore scene to her advantage in our custody battle for our kid.
Yeah.
And it was laughable, because I have, out of the 40-some songs that I have released, I think maybe 2 are horrorcore. So I found it funny that she wanted to use the fact that I was a juggalo in court and how they're registered as a gang, and I literally broke out into a laughter in the courtroom. It was a good time.
You know, to me, like, I think the way that society looks on horrorcore rappers or horror music in general, it's kind of a double standard, because if you are a writer, actor, director, and you make a horror movie, you're just making a fucking movie. But if you're a horror musician and you make a song with the same kind of shit, you are a murdering, crazy killer person who will probably go do that, because people don't associate art, can't separate art, or the artist from the art, in a sense. Does that make sense to you? How do you feel about that?
Right. It's like, if you think it, it's okay, but if you say it, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, just to bring that up against you in court, to say, well, you have songs about, you know, that are horror related. Well, fucking, you know, Wes Craven should be have his kids taken away from him too when he was still alive. You know what I mean? Because he created fucking Freddy Krueger, so he's a sick bastard and needs his kids. You know what I mean? That the whole thing's just nonsense.
Right, and I even said, for the fact, you know, like, dude, just because I write horror music doesn't mean I kill people. Just because I write, you know, I've written songs about being on drugs and I have no idea what the fuck it's like to be on them. I feel like I know, because I've had best friends who have been addicted to these drugs, and I've seen it firsthand what it does to them. And, you know, you don't need to do something just to put it into song form. Like, it drove me nuts. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I think people need to learn to separate art from the artist, and really in being an artist. And when you create something, I mean, that's an expression, and, you know, people are always going to judge it, but I guess, you know, just to kind of put a bow on it, I digress. It's, you know, the person is not necessarily what they're putting in the art, and it's bullshit to say that it is.
But then again, you get the fucking idiots like Bloody Ruckus who actually go out and do stupid shit and they put a bad name on everybody, you know, because of one stupid action by one.
Are those by chance people who like ate a thumb or some shit like that? What was that all about?
They chopped off a girl's pinky with a machete, and then like cut her arm open and drank her blood and shit like that.
So that whole
and
thing
he
that made
filmed
the
it like a
news.
jackass. He filmed it like a jackass movie, like, I'm Bloody Ruckus, and this bitch is about to get her pinky chopped off. Like, what an idiot. Dude's on probation. Like, number one, if you're writing horrorcore music, don't do no stupid shit. Number two, if you're on probation, don't fucking film a crime in progress, especially when you're chopping off a bitch's finger.
Is it a crime if she's agreeing to it, though?
It's considered extreme body modification, which is illegal in the state of Wisconsin.
Wow. They're all a bunch of dumb fucks, in my opinion. So, was that a rapper or a rap group, and were they associated with Wicked Wisco?
Yeah, Bloody Ruckus is a solo artist from Green Bay. He's supposedly the new cult leader after our buddy Geno Cult Shit passed away. I don't know. Once Geno passed away, I started separating myself from the scene, and there was a couple of drama battles, and I just said screw it. So I completely kind of stepped away. I mean, I still love the shit out of most Wicked Wisconsin artists, but some of those guys, it's pointless.
All right, yeah, and I wanted to talk about that. So let's take a step back here and we kind of brushed over that. So for those that don't know, what is Wicked Wisconsin? Is it a record label? I mean, obviously it's a group of horrorcore rappers, musicians in Wisconsin. Is it a label? Is it organized? Is it just kind of a clique? Is it a movement? Is it organized? What is it?
Oh, it's kind of everything that you just said all in one. Like, it was never really a record label, to my knowledge anyway. But, like, I mean, they would push some of the artists they didn't. It was kind of like a buddy system. It was a tight little clique. I mean, they threw some badass shows. They would always, I mean, we brought in Tech Nine on his birthday for the KOD tour. You know, we brought in Mars. We brought in Kung Fu Vampire. You know, all those great horrorcore acts. It was always before they come up in the game, which was always the cool part. But yeah, it was a group. It was from all sorts of different artists from across the state of Wisconsin. I mean, it had me, it had Hands On, it had the Morgue, the DRP, Dark Half. I mean, Maniac. Some of the best horrorcore artists ever in the state of Wisconsin, all in one little clique.
And there's some cool motherfuckers in there. I mean, I don't want to say I don't get along with any of them, but, you know, there's some that I didn't really associate with much. But I always got along with you. I clicked with Hands On. I got him on one of my tracks. I did a lot of shows with Mr. Green and the Shadowcastas. Met Maniacs a few times. You know, DRP did a lot of shows with him, so definitely tied in with that group quite a bit. We used to call ourselves Wicked Wishigan, you know, like the Wicked Wishigan connection, because the UP was kind of always like the bastard step cousin of Wisconsin.
Redhead stepchild.
Yeah, it was never. The UP is not really part of Michigan. I mean, I live in Lower Michigan now. It's like a completely separate state than what the UP is. The UP is really a lot more like Wisconsin.
You gotta go up there and get them pasties.
Pasties. Pasties are what fat bitches wear on their titties when they go out dancing. So, did you ever have, like, I mean, did you get along with the Wicked Wisco clique for the most part, or was there a falling out there at any point in time? Was there like an on and off again thing, or were you always pretty much tied in with that group?
Ever since like 2009, I mean, I was pretty tied in with the group. I would normally do a lot of the Wicked wrestling events that they did. I'd open up almost all the tours that, you know, members would be on, whether it be a Dark Half tour or Leaders of the Lost, or, you know, any one of those guys. Just had kind of a falling out after Geno Cult Shit passed away. A couple of things were said, and it wasn't worth all the drama. I mean, they tried to start shit at a show in Sheboygan when I was with my pregnant wife at the time, and No, dude, that's when they crossed the line, and I said, nope, I'm out.
Anything you want to elaborate on with that, or just kind of leave it at that?
Man, I was told some shit, and I said it to one of my close friends, you know, in private, and he mentioned it to Ey3z, and instead of talking to me about it, they wanted to go and talk shit on Facebook. So, you know, all they had to do was message a dude and be like, "What the fuck?" And I would have, you know, said, "Hey, this is what I heard. You know, what the fuck, you know, is right." I mean, there's a lot of different things that have been said. And it's bullshit, dude. But whatever, man. If they don't want to act like adults, whatever, let them act like kids.
Ey3z, is that the other half of Dark Half?
Correct.
Yeah. I definitely want to touch on Dark Half and especially Geno here in just a moment. A couple other people from Wicked Wisco I want your opinions on. Did you and Mo Foley get along pretty well?
Mo to the Foe is my brother from another mother. Man, it's funny, me and him, we met back at the 2005 gathering, the Juggalos. I was doing the refereeing for the JCW tryouts, and him and his brother were two of the tryout contestants.
Yeah.
There's actually a Facebook photo somewhere on Mo Foley's page of this happening, and that was the only time in my life I ever had a bald-ass head. Never go to the fucking gathering with a bald-ass head, because it's going to get sunburnt as a bitch.
Yes.
But yeah, man, Mo Foley's my dude. He got me my one booking at Dysfunction's Insane Championship Wrestling, and me and him are a tag team, and it was awesome. I've been waiting years to work with that guy, whether it was wrestling or music, and damn, that's my dude. He puts a smile on my face every time somebody mentions Mo Foley. Love that guy.
That's pretty cool. You know, I've been around Mofo quite a few times. Never really talked with the dude. I don't know if he ever had any kind of issue with me. Didn't seem like it. We just never really found any kind of common ground to really talk. But I mean, I got the chance to play Foley's one Halloween. You know, we've brought him into a wrestling show one time.
And he threw up. Remember that? It was during his tag match or whatever.
Yeah,
he jumped out the ring. He threw up in like the little pew or whatever the hell that was. And rolled back in the ring. Oh shit, son.
So I mean, you know, I guess we did get you know, I guess we got along well. We just never really had any good conversations or clicked or anything. He's always just kind of been a little bit of a mystery to me. Never really got a good read on him, but by all accounts, he seems like a good dude, and you account for that too. You say he's pretty good, pretty solid people then.
100% good people. 100%
what's going on with him down in NXT? Was that just like him going down there and just snapping a bunch of pictures? Did he get a tryout? What's the scoop there?
I have hit Mo Foley up and asked him about that so many times, and he won't tell me at all.
Because, I mean, yeah, I believe, you know, pretty much, I shouldn't say it's not hard to go down there and get a tryout, but I think, you know, he could probably get his foot in the door doing that, or even, I know they do open tours and that sort of thing, but I believe he had a picture of him signing some sort of piece of paper with Sarah and fucking Albert standing there by him, so, I don't know.
Right, and he did get in the ring and all that, too. I mean, it was in his gear and everything, so, I mean, I wish him the best of luck.
Though he won't say nothing about it.
He just will not tell me. He just won't. It bugs me. It's my brother. I mean, we share the same birth date, dude.
Right on. Well, hopefully, I mean, hey, you know, if he's good people, and I've always gotten, you know, I don't have anything bad to say about him. Hopefully, it does work out for him. You know, it's always good to see people from our circle that we do shows with, you know, come up and do something bigger. So that's pretty cool if he is onto something. If not, what the fuck, you know? But, yeah, that's cool. The other one, I did want to get into talking about Dark Half, specifically Geno. Going back to what I had said about horrorcore, Dark Half was one of the groups that I did listen to. I wouldn't say I listened to them like enough to like memorize their music or, you know, nothing like that, but I've listened to their bigger albums that they've put out a few times. And to me, like, I wasn't a fan of the horrorcore lyrics for the most part, and no knock to the other half, dark half. Not a huge fan of Insane D. You can enlighten us more on that if you have an opinion there. I don't have an opinion on him as a person. I mean, I've always, again, the few brushes I've had with him, we got along fine. Just, he's more of a straight rapper. And maybe it's because he's next to Geno, because I don't even want to knock his rapping ability. But anybody standing next to Geno, god damn is that kid. That such a loss to, I mean, what a talent, you know what I mean? His fucking voice was unreal. To me, his voice moved me. It had a grunge feel to it almost, but there was soul in it. It was, his voice was unreal. What a talent. What do you say about all that?
I have always said that Geno Cult Shit would be the Kurt Cobain of the Wisconsin scene.
He's a Kurt Cobain of horrorcore. I mean, he had that same.
Dude, he had the most captivating voice when he sang, and he sang with such conviction that it sucked you in.
Yes.
And it didn't matter if he was singing about cutting a bitch up, or if he was singing about death, or it didn't matter what he was singing about. You would stop and you would listen. I know people that don't even like horrorcore music, but they listen to Dark Half.
And that's me, like I said. I didn't like the lyrics necessarily, but that man fucking drew me in. He was magical. He was such a talent. And a good dude, too. Like, I've been around Dark Half a few times, different shows here and there, and, he's very, very personable, friendly, definitely like willing to talk to you and have a conversation, and fucking just what a loss, man. What a loss.
I remember the first time I listened to his solo album that came out. I had the pre-mix version right after he had passed away. And I put it in one day driving home from work, because there was the same amount of time it took me to get home from work as the CD took to play through. And it was really hard to stay on the road, because, I mean, that album was just so... It almost sensed like he knew something. You know what I mean? Like, it sent shivers down my spine.
Foreshadowing things in his music.
If he wasn't, he's a damn good storyteller. That's all I can say. Like, that album is just amazing.
Did he, was it an accident? Was it on purpose? What happened with him?
See, I've heard different things, but I don't think Geno would ever do anything to compromise not only his life, but his career. I mean, that dude was going places, and he knew it. I mean, we all knew it. And I don't know, man. I want to hope and pray that it was an accident, but I mean, I don't have anything to say that it was or wasn't. I mean, I just it's one of those, you wish you knew, but you just don't. It's one of those things that make you go,
You never know what demons are really inside everybody. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure, you've had your rough patches in your life. Just on the shoot tip, I've thought about suicide, several times, and even come close a couple times, I don't think I ever would have had the balls to do it, but I think we all get there, especially us artist types. We tend to be a little bit emo, whether we want to admit it or not. Shit affects us a little bit more emotionally, I guess, than other people. So you never know what was inside of him or what the real thing was. But god damn, that made me so sad when I heard that he passed, because I don't feel like I spent enough time with him. Just a few times I talked to him, I was kind of in my prime of music when he passed, and I really, really wanted to have him on an album. I wanted to bring them in for shows. That fucking voice inspired the shit out of me, and he touched people, whether more than, I think he probably ever realized, but he had a big effect on things. Same with you?
Yeah, dude. I remember when I first heard the news, I left work like in a heartbeat. I was like, "Hey man, gotta go. Really close musician friend passed. I don't want to talk about it. I'm gone. Peace out." Like I was gone. Like I'm very, very honored that I got to share as many shows as I did with Dark Half at that time. It seems like almost every other show I was doing, Dark Half was on the bill. I did a show one time out in Chicago with them, and they gave me props on stage when they were doing their set, and that was probably the coolest shit. And they were out there at the bar jamming in my set, and I don't know, they were two of my biggest influences, basically, when I was coming up in the game early on. I did a show, it had to be like '09 with Cap One as the headliner out in Milwaukee. Dark Cap was right before us, and I'd never heard of Dark Half before, and I don't know, I probably didn't even understand half the shit they were saying on stage. When they got done, I looked at Hands On, and I was like, well, we have to follow that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely somebody that'll be missed. Now, you had kind of touched on everything kind of fell apart after he passed. Did Wicked Wisco kind of fall apart at that point? I mean, it doesn't seem to be as a strongly knit unit as it was at that time. Did that kind of cause a rift and everything? Cause some drama? What happened there after he passed?
I haven't really been paying too much attention to their side of things. But I know losing Geno, it was like one of the pieces of the crown just falling off. What do you do? I mean, he was a big staple in what Wicked Wisconsin was, and when you thought of Geno, you thought of LSP and you thought of Wicked Wisconsin.
Right.
And I know the DRP is making some moves right now with Force 5 Records, and
yeah, he is.
Everybody seems to be on their own little thing right now, and I hope everything goes well for him. I mean, Wicked Wisconsin was a big reason why a lot of the people in the scene are as big as they are right now, I think. And, I hope that they can keep the movement going, because horrorcore needs a movement to keep going and keep surviving.
Yeah, for sure, man. Kind of transitioning away then from that, just kind of put a bow on that. I think, I got the chance to get over to Wisconsin and do a lot of shows over there. Brought in some Wisconsin folks to come do shows up in the Upe. I thought it was a real cool scene over there. You guys, all of you really carried your own weight and rocked a lot of shit out there. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of the scene, and I follow a lot of the different artists out there. So I just kind of wanted to put a shout out to that and kind of explain that scene a little bit. So that's pretty cool. Moving on to the wrestling side of things, you said you started wrestling even before you were a rapper. You said you kind of self-trained a little bit, then you went on and got professional training, or some anyway. Where did you get professionally trained?
I got professionally trained at a sandy volleyball pit area of Baba Louie's up in De Pere through NWA Wisconsin at the time. My trainers were WWE's Hornswoggle, J-Cash, Cadillac Nick Bellucci, Can-Ann, Jerry Styles, and sometimes we had a guest trainer every once in a while. Like, we had some MMA guy, Adrian Serrano, come in and do a training session with us once.
How'd you get along with Hornswoggle? I hear a lot of different stories about him. A lot of the wrestlers don't like him that I talk to. What's your opinion of Hornswoggle?
See, a lot of wrestlers will tell you they don't like him until he's standing right next to him and they're kissing his ass.
Well, that's because he's also kind of like the gateway guy to the WWE too, right? I mean, the Wisconsin wrestlers that get to do their little cameos and shit, that goes through Hornswoggle, doesn't that?
I would assume so, but I
Your
cannot
rosebud
confirm
spots and
that.
shit like that.
I don't know. I mean, we were good. I mean, he came up in the same fucking yard that I did, so I don't hold him up to any little higher level just because he got to WWE. I mean, he's still Dylan, to me. But, we were good. I mean, he asked me to work for ACW, so I worked out there for about 9-10 months, something like that, and he let me go because my Facebook posts were too shitty and too emo and bitching about life, and it'll reflect bad on his wrestling company. And I was like, whatever, dude. If you're gonna bitch out on my Facebook post, dude, whatever. It's not worth my time.
You didn't hold any hard feelings against him for that, though?
A little bit. I mean, let's face it, ACW is the best wrestling company probably in Northeast Wisconsin. I mean, they're constantly damn near selling out the Masonic Center that they wrestle in, and they just did a school show with over 500 people that, paid admission to get in. And I mean, plus you're working under a WWE guy. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Right, and like I said, I mean, from the people that I've spoken with, he's kind of the gatekeeper to the WWE for those people that gone in to do rosebud spots or security or that kind of thing. That kind of goes through Hornswoggle and ACW. So probably definitely the place you want to be if you're wrestling in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is kind of a hot wrestling territory, though, in general. I mean, there's Brew City there. There was ICW for a while, not the British ICW, but the one that Dysfunction was running for a while.
Yep.
Not a bad little spot to be doing to be a wrestler coming up, right? A lot of work to be had if you want to go out and get it, right? Plus,
yeah,
the Wicked Effing Wrestling. I know Mofo was doing a lot of decent shows there.
Well, the Wicked Wisconsin Wrestling doesn't, draw necessarily well, but I mean, they do bring in an assortment of indie guys and younger talent. But I mean, as far as being a hotbed, I mean, yeah, if you're in the Milwaukee area, you can get trained by, Ring of Honor Silas Young and Beer City Bruiser and all them guys down there. And if you're in the Oshkosh area, you can get trained by a former WWE guy. And I mean, you got plenty of reputable people to train and producing good talent. I mean, I can't deny that we have a pretty good scene here in Wisconsin, and primarily it's the same group of guys that I came up with in the game. I mean, it's cool to see the level of like the Joey Avalons, stuff like that.
What was your first match, and how bad did you suck in it? Talk about any like botch spots that you had, or just like any kind of good stories about your first match.
Well, I can't say much about my first indie match because I was pretty well at that point. Okay. I think. So I'll go to my first match with the ring with the 4 corner ropes. All right. So it was outside. It was snowing out. The tarp was slippery as shit. And we went out there, never once before wrestled in a ring with ropes. And I can't even watch it. It's worse than a car wreck. But I stuck to it and kept learning and learning and learning. And I mean, the only thing I can say bad about my first indie match was maybe a botched springboard once. That was about it. So I mean, it wasn't too bad, but it was in front of like 300 people, so that kind of sucked. But
do you go back and watch a lot of your shit? Do you try to get video footage and collect that and study it and watch it and learn from it, or are you just kind of the person who just shows up, does it, and moves on to the next?
I am the guy who shows up before the ring shows up. When it shows up, I set it up along with my camera, and I make sure somebody films it, and I normally put it on YouTube the next day just so I have a memory of it for keepsake of all time. I think I have like at least 50 of my matches up on my YouTube page.
Wow.
I mean, I every single match that I've ever recorded is on my laptop. So I mean, it's pretty full right now.
Yeah, I try to do the same. I've never had an official wrestling match, but for the shows and shit, the rap shows that I've done, I try to, get video of that and study that. And the things that I have done in wrestling, for a guy who hasn't been a wrestler, I've gotten my ass kicked quite a bit in the wrestling ring. I mostly played like a babyface commissioner, authority figure in UPW, and then in my promotion PWR. And I did some ring announcing for Bruno even a little bit. And then I went back to UPW after I was no longer involved in the business side of it. And then I was a heel at that point, and I did my first heel promo. And I remember just bugging the shit out of Pete to get me a video copy of my promo because I wanted to see it, study it, and just kind of, it was my first heel promo. I wanted to see how it came off, and it took months and months and fucking months to get a copy of it, and didn't even come from him, son of a bitch. But, I like having records of that kind of stuff to go back and watch. It's good stuff.
I fucking hate being a heel, and I've only been a heel once in my entire career, and that was for Hornswoggle's company. I mean, how can you boo a guy who does really cool flippy moves? Like, you can't boo the flippy flip guy. It doesn't make sense. Everywhere else I was a bigger face, and I was fucking over, especially with kids, because I did the cool shit.
Yeah.
And when you take away me trying to be all happy and cheery with me doing a flip and then popping up, oh, I'm so good. Dude, half the people in the crowd could beat me up one-handed, okay? Like, that shit's not fucking believable. That shit's so not believable.
I think I prefer the heel role. I got to play heel twice, and it was a lot of fun. Especially, I had a lot of heat with the UPW crowd when I went back there. So it was like a built-in. They just wanted to kill me, So it was fun to do that. I think if I was a wrestler, I would want to be a heel. I don't think I could get over much as a babyface. I don't think I could be too likable. I think it'd be fun to just, see how much hate I could possibly get.
See, I'm not a likable person at all, but when I'm in a wrestling ring, I don't know, people just, maybe it's because of my size. I'm just a small guy. People like the underdog.
Yeah.
But,
absolutely.
There's nothing better than hearing a gym full of 200 people chanting your name. Like, that is the coolest feeling in the world.
I think you are likable. I think even as a rapper, you're certainly, you have it dead on as a wrestler. You do the, you're more of the high flying style, and you're smaller, like you said. So it kind of builds. What's the word I'm looking for? People have sympathy for you. They get behind you. And then even with your music, too, I think you come off fairly likable. So, yeah, I don't see that at all. Maybe not in your daily life, but as a performer, yeah, you're pretty likable.
I try to stay humble at shows and try to stay professional at shows, but, outside, legit, I think I'm an asshole. I think that's why I got fired from my job, was being an asshole, but that's a different story for a different day.
You gotta be an asshole. I think that's why I identify with being a heel more. I can be an asshole. I try to be fair. I try to be likable. I think after my most recent divorce, I think I had reached my peak assholeness, and then I got shit canned by the wife, and then I think that kind of humbled me pretty good. So I've been trying to be pretty likable ever since then. But I think we all have that asshole mentality in us, and I think you got to a certain extent, especially when you are in the entertainment business, because as we talked about at the beginning here, it can be very cliquey. It can be a lot of competition. It can be, a lot of behind the scenes snaky stuff. No pun intended to Snake Eyes. So I think you got to kind of have a little bit of that asshole mentality to survive in that environment, right?
You see, and I think I just wasn't asshole-ish enough working for some of the indie promotions I worked for. So I guess being the nice kid that set up the ring and got his ass beat, but got over every show and then helps tear down the ring and got shifted on cash all the time. You know, I think I needed to be an asshole more, but I think you gotta hold your ground is what you gotta do. Is no matter where you're at, I mean, whether it's music, whether it's wrestling, it don't matter. You just gotta hold your ground. You gotta hold your opinion. If something ain't right, you just stand up for yourself. You know, be a dick. Fuck it.
Do you get along with most of the promoters these days, or did you have a falling out with any of them? Is there any issues at this time? You talked about being shorted on cash a few times. I mean, talk about some of the feds that you've worked for and just experiences or your relationships with promoters.
Well, let's see. We got Dysfunction, who runs Insane Championship Wrestling. He hates me with a passion. Why? I don't know, dude. I share my weed with him every time I see him at a show, so I don't know why he hates me so much.
Is ICW even still running anymore?
They were last I checked. I don't know. Like I said, I did one show with them, and this doesn't remember ever booking me on his show, so that's worth something, I guess. The guy for Brew City, he never really liked me. He saw me at a WFNW show and didn't like what he saw, so I never really had a shot there.
Is that Frankie?
Frankie, yeah, and then Beer City Bruiser, who basically is their head, worker there.
Yeah.
He doesn't like me at all because I like to talk shit about people that think they're bigger and better than everybody else because of where they're working.
Right.
Let's see. I'm good with the guys in De Pere. Ron runs WPW. Nathan Gust, I think, books for him. I'm pretty good with them yet. But never really worked for them outside of back when they were NWA Wisconsin, way back in the day.
So Wisconsin Pro Wrestling is direct lineage from NWA Wisconsin?
I believe so. I mean, it went from NWA Wisconsin to ACW, and then it kind of took a dump.
Did ACW split into two promotions? So I know ACW is still there, but then there's Wisconsin Pro as well. Were they both, is that the same lineage? Did they split off?
See, and that's the part of the business I never really paid attention to.
Word. Right on.
I just stayed in my lane, bro.
You ever do any work for Bruno in Under the Lights?
Under the Lights? No, never did a show for them. I hit him up many times to see if I would work an event or two, but he never would get back to me. Like I said, there's a lot of workers that don't like me because of my opinions and how I see things and how I came up in the game, and they think that you're supposed to pay people thousands of dollars to train you. Well, I basically hustled my ass off, worked my ass off, bumped in the ring for hours before shows started, before anybody else would even walk into a ring. I've paid my dues, but they don't see it that way. I mean,
aren't a lot of those Wisconsin guys kind of backyarders, though?
I will say it, at least 40% of the Wisconsin scene is yarders. 40%.
I would say probably, it's from what I can tell, yeah. But, you would know it better than I would. But I was going to say, I would say probably a good percentage of all wrestlers everywhere in the country, especially our age that kind of grew up, living, being younger through the Attitude Era and everything, probably all started as yarders at some point,
There's at least 3 guys on the indie scene that started primarily in my yard, but the 40% that's in the Wisconsin indie scene all started in the same fucking backyard in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Yeah, anybody that has anything to say about yarders, and rightfully so to an extent, all right? If you're a guy, just devil's advocate here, if you're a guy who paid a couple $1,000s to go to a professional school and you got that kind of clean, polished, professional training, I could see why you would look down at a yarder on the same show who didn't have to go to pay those dues. At the same time, look at, that's your John Cena type, maybe. Look at CM Punk. He was a fucking yarder. You know what I mean? So you can't say that yarders can't be capable of achieving the same levels or be as good as anybody just because they've been trained. I think that is bullshit. But at the same time, I think I can see, like I said, devil's advocate, I can see why people would be weary wanting to get in the ring with a yarder who maybe hasn't been professionally trained and just being worried about that, or maybe not knowing the fine points of the psychology. I think you can learn a lot of moves doing the backyard, but I think the psychology is something you might pick up in more higher education, so to speak. Any thoughts or opinions on any of that?
It depends on what level of backyard you're doing. See, what we were doing, we had indie promoters coming to our shows to scout talent. And tell me how much sense that makes, especially when you're looking at it as the owner of an indie company going to a backyard to scout for talent.
Right.
I mean, we were running indie shows for free in the yard. I mean, we had tons of people at our bigger events, and it was absolute insanity. And none of us ever gave a shit if we ever made it, because we were drawing more than the indie companies were the next city over. And it was funny to us that we could do this without even trying. And I would rather take a kid out of the yard than a kid in wrestling school to put on a show. Because that yarder already has experience in front of people. He knows what it's like to fuck up. He's going to learn from his mistakes because he doesn't want to fuck up. If he's a good, a learner. If he actually wants to learn. One half of the Young Bucks trained himself. The other one would come home from wrestling training and they would go in the yard behind their house and he would teach the other one what they just learned in school. So, if you can't tell me that, you have to pay somebody all this cash. You don't have to pay. As long as you learn. You soak up every little, like a sponge. Every show I was on, my ears were open and I would learn. If I fucked up, I would take the constructive criticism. I may have talked back a little bit to piss the so-called vets off, but I'm still learning from each situation that I've been in. It all depends on how far you want to take it yourself. I never wanted to get signed anywhere. I just wanted to be a wrestler. That's all I wanted to do. I just didn't feel like I needed to pay all that because I feel like I could dedicate myself in other ways to help the show out, other than just paying some dude to stand there and watch me bump around all day.
What do you have to say to those that have any of those haters or detractors of you, anybody who's had any kind of negative thing to say about you, or that you feel like hold you down because they have some sort of an opinion of you? What do you say to them, and how do you feel about that?
Well, everybody is. I don't hate anybody for their opinion. Their opinion is theirs. Everybody's entitled to it. People want to hate me for my opinion. That's their way of thinking. Fine by them, man. If that's how they want to live their life, cool story, bro. I say what I want because that's my right. That's all of our rights. That's what we're allowed to do. And just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean you gotta trash talk somebody. Yeah, I get it. I'm a skinny fucking dude. I get it. But I go out until damn near throwing up after every single match. And I'm in the ring before half the vets even are on their way to the venue. And I'm bumping around by myself. And I'm always learning and training and trying to get better. I wish that they could see that, hey, there was this young kid who would show up every time, set up the ring. He'd be bumping around. He did his match. He got over. He made sure it was worth it. And he helps straight on the ring. And he listens to us. But I'm not going to like him because of his opinion. That is the most childish bullshit I have ever heard in my life. And it's so laughable. These guys get so worked up online. Then they tag each other. And it's cute, bro. It's cute.
When you say your opinion, are you an outspoken person online? Do you vent your frustrations or just kind of give your opinions on things to where people are seeing what you say and having criticisms towards that? Or where are they getting your opinion and where are they getting turned off by your opinions?
I speak my frustrations if I'm, when I click on my little Facebook app, it says, "What's on your mind?" So I say exactly what's on my mind. That's what it's telling me to do. And then people want to attack me for what I've said. Well, just because you like onions and I don't, I'm not going to hate you because you're eating a burger with fucking onions on it. Enjoy the fucking onions, bro. Like it's just stupid. I don't stand for bullshit. If I see bullshit, I call bullshit. And some people don't like that. People feel that everybody should be a yes man, and I'm not a yes man. I am far from it. Far from it.
Where do you, when people look back on the entertainment scene in the Wisconsin area, wrestling, rap scene, whichever, how do you want to be seen or viewed or remembered in both scenes? Do you see yourself more as a wrestler, a rapper, or kind of what's your overall hope of that people would take away of you in the scene in general and what you are?
I just want to be remembered as the kid who just wanted to entertain. Like, I never wanted to be a rapper. It just kind of happened that I learned to fall in love entertaining people by doing the wrestling and figured it'd be worth a shot, and kind of worked out pretty well. I never thought I would be in the indie scene or a wrestler in general, because where does a kid who lives in bumfuck Egypt with 2,000 people as a population go to learn to be a pro wrestler? I mean, that's only, 55 pounds when he's a freshman in high school. When I say I'm a small dude, I'm a small motherfucking dude. I'm just tall as shit.
Right.
I couldn't even give a speech in high school, but somehow I can stand in front of a sold-out gymnasium shirtless and fucking pleather shorts and kicking dudes that are wearing underwear. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so fucked up when I think about it. Like, I don't even get nervous in front of shows anymore. I just go through the motions. I black out and I do my thing, and I come back to reality when I step back through the curtain, and I look around and ask, well, how'd that go?
What are your future plans as far as wrestling and music? Are you going to continue to try to pursue music, either just creating music, doing shows, both? Are you going to get back into the wrestling scene after you heal up? What's in the future for Snake Eyz?
The last show I did for wrestling wise, was in my hometown, and I got to work Gorgeous Jordy Lee and Joey Avalon in my hometown, and I think that's going to be my final match as of now. My back is all messed up, my neck's all messed up. I got kids. I mean, wrestling doesn't really pay the bills at the level we're at.
Yeah.
I mean, for now, I'm pretty sure I'm done with the wrestling. The music-wise, I'm still going to help out and hype on hands-on sets. I do music with my brother from another mic cord, SQ. I rock on stage with him, so I'm going to continue to hype with him. Hopefully dabble back into write my own shit if I can get over my 4.5-year writer block session I got going on right now. But I do plan on writing some more. I just want to help the scene grow. I mean, I had my fun. I've toured. I've been on shows with, headliners and did all that. I think I just want to help the next generation out before shit goes down the drain like the rest of the music scene seems to be going in the direction of.
Yeah, man, that's it's very cool. I feel kind of in that same boat with you. I feel like I've had my run for the most part. I've been on a real, like you said, you've had a 4-year writer's block. My last album came out in 2011. I haven't done anything musically since, and nothing came out. I was just dried up. I had, everything was going good when I had my run, and then it just kind of it all just tapped out. Had my divorce, had to move, everything just kind of fizzled out. Now I feel like I'm having a resurgence creatively, so I am creating new music, but I don't really feel the need to put myself out there as an artist anymore, as a product. I want to try and help other people around me kind of get their time in the sun, and kind of, have their chance to have their run. And so I think I'm right there with you. And it's very, I really respect that point of view. And like you said, it needs to be done. People need to be pointed in the right direction, and that new crop needs to grow and come up right.
All I can say is the next generation, when you rock live shows, don't rap over all your seedy fucking vocals, because you sound like fucking garbage. You have a microphone and a fucking voice. Please use it, because that is what I do. And yes, you will bust your ass on stage, whether there's one person in the dive bar you're in or the 300 in the fucking little back bar that you're in. But I promise you, you're going to sound 10,000 times better. Oh my God.
What I always did with mine, I agree with you there. When I was making my music, I would save, you'd have your instrumental, you'd have your final mix that you have mastered up, and then what I would do is I would save a concert track, and that would I'd take out all the main vocals, I would leave the overdubs and the ad-libs and just kind of the background accentuations in there. But other than
right,
that,
and then you leave the chorus in. You keep the chorus in, because that's when you can take a fucking breath, because technically the chorus is supposed to be catchy to where the fans are fucking singing the shit anyway.
Right. Yeah,
you leave your fucking back, you leave your ad-libs in.
Exactly. Yep, so I'd save all the songs I knew I was going to try to do live, I'd save them separately like that, so right there with you on that too, my man. Last couple questions here. What was your favorite wrestling match that you had?
Oh boy. Oh shit. I would have to say, I've had a lot of really good fucking fun crowd-wise matches. So I'm gonna have to actually go with the match I had with the real Brock Hall, the very first match in my hometown, which was last year. It was a ladder match, and we're gonna break the curtain wall here for a second. And when asked about it, I said flat out, I don't want to fucking win. I want to go for the belt, and I want to fucking lose, because I'm going to get these people so fucking riled up, and they think I'm going to win, and we're going to suck this place's energy fucking gone. And during the match, fucking the whole match, I just told dude, just beat the shit out of me with this fucking ladder. So he beat the shit out of me pretty fucking good. Put him through a table on the outside in the middle of the crowd, and fucking super kicked a chair into his homeboy's face, and started climbing, and everybody just on their feet fucking screaming. I mean, I put tons of promotion into this fucking show and everything else, and all of a sudden here comes a dude fucking power bouncing through a table in the corner, and you can just feel the fucking vibe get sucked out of that room like they just saw somebody fucking die. And to this day, talking about it just gave me the chills, because it was just one of those moments where it was just, holy shit, we had him. We fucking had him.
What is it with Brock? He seems to be used on top by all the different feds. I was like Brock. I used Brock too when he was starting out. He was Brock Hardy at the time that I was using him. But he seems to be being used on top a lot. He doesn't have the typical main eventer look. What is it about him that is main event material, in your opinion?
You know, he's a good guy. He's very humble, very kind, very nice. He works hard. He does what he's told. He's basically, exactly what the promoters are looking for, except, look-wise, I mean, he doesn't have this, a good fucking physique. Doesn't, I mean, he kind of looks like a Razor Ramon, and Matt Hardy had a gay love child, and I was thinking, you know what I mean? But I mean, I love the dude. He's a funny dude. He's a good dude. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. You know what I mean? Like it's another one of those kind of head scratchers. I mean, he deserves it. He worked his ass off. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah,
which is probably that's the reason why I would give somebody, a title or a main event push is, he's always there setting up the ring. He's always there helping. He's always there, listening when the green kids are in the ring working out their stuff, and he's trying to help them out. And stuff like that should be rewarded, which is why I'm happy that people use him the way that they do.
Yeah, that's dope. Good for Brock Hall. He's a good kid, and hope he continues to kill it. Best concert that you ever played? Your best show that you performed at? Whether it was your performance or just whoever you opened up for, or just your favorite show.
Man, I've had some fun shows, but if I'm gonna have to go with a solo show, it was my first time opening up for Razakel and
it was Local Fest, wasn't it?
That was a good fucking show, though, bro. That shit was fun as fuck. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
I was just watching video that we were talking about having video footage. I was watching video that I was laughing my ass off. It was good times. But yeah, go ahead.
Pictures that show up all the time on my fucking On This Day shit. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. It was just some fucking abandoned old paintball gun arena, and it was some fucking cruddy basement, and the place was fucking rocking, and Razakel and Satanic were jamming out next to the stage, during my set, and the crowd was hype as fuck, and that was the day that I met Razakel for the first time, and she's probably one of the coolest people I've ever met in my entire life. That girl was fucking awesome. Satanic is one of the fucking coolest dudes on the fucking planet. Like, two fucking family, I mean, right there, for sure. I remember Razakel was the first person I talked to after I got out of Geno's funeral, and I apologized because I was crying in her dreadlocks.
Right on.
Yes, I think that's definitely one of the best concerts I had.
Quick little sidebar then before we wrap it up here, I'll let you do some plugs. I wanted to ask your opinion on the Juggalo Civil War. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, dude, you're talking to an old school Juggalo like he cares about this new school bullshit. It's the ICP. I listen to fucking Twisted. I fucking love them both. I don't give a shit as long as they make good music. Like, Twisted's new album hasn't fucking left my CD player.
Dude, it's so good, isn't it? I've been jamming it too. It's very good. It's they've never ever been bad, but their last couple albums I wasn't feeling as much. This one's
I hated Twisted. I hated Twisted with a passion from Mirror Mirror until like Abominations came out.
Really? Mirror Mirror is one of my all-time favorite albums.
See, I think like Freak Show was the last good album they had.
Oh God, I hated Freak Show. I didn't like Most Tasteless was okay. Didn't like Freak Show. Loved Mirror Mirror. Loved Green Book. I liked Independence Day a lot. I liked Heartbroken and Homicidal, and I like this new one here, Questions.
Yeah, I wasn't. All those albums that you just said you liked, I was not a fan of.
That's dope, though, when a group can have such an eclectic set of music that they can have the same fans that like completely opposite shit and still be the fans of the same group. So that's pretty cool, actually.
Right.
Right on. All right, go. Any plugs that you have? Anything you want to just shout out? Your YouTube page you mentioned, your Facebook, anything at all you want to give a shout out to?
If you do want to check out my wrestling or my music, I got I think like 300 and some videos on my YouTube page. It'd be youtube.com/Snake Eyes Hip Hop. The last E in eyes is the number 3, so it's Snake Ey3z Hip Hop. I don't know what the fuck's going on with my Facebook page. I can't get into that shit, so don't even fucking bother liking that shit.
Are you opposed to anybody friending you as a human being on Facebook, or is that more your personal life?
I mean, I don't care as long as they don't talk shit about my opinions. I'm cool with it. I mean, you can look up Justin Net, the picture of me with my 6-month-old little ginger baby that I got. So yeah, you can toss me an ad. I normally promote a lot of fishing videos and how-tos and stuff like that because I used to work for a fishing company. But yeah, so if you like hip-hop music, fishing, sometimes political shit, mostly funny shit, yeah, toss me an ad. I don't give a fuck.
Is your wrestling and your music on the same YouTube page?
Correct. There's different playlists. So if somebody just wants to check out my music, I got my CD on there. If they want to check out my wrestling, that's on there. There's a live video playlist, so any of my concert footage, that's all in that folder. I mean, it's all divided nice and neatly for you.
Dope. That's awesome. Well, Snake Eyes, it was awesome talking to you. Like I said, I wanted to touch base. You know, this podcast is to kind of shout out and spotlight people that are doing the independent grind. And I think being a wrestler and a rapper, you pretty much epitomize the independent grind for sure, you know, in the local region. So wanted to spotlight you and have you share your story. And I think it's been pretty dope talking to you. I think we kind of just skimmed the surface of a lot of things. I think we could have gone into more detail about some shit, maybe another time. But good talking to you, my man, and I hope you have a good rest of your night and good week here.
Awesome, man. I'm gonna hopefully fucking pray for some more ice because I need to start fishing some more. I got an addiction. I need to wet a line.
Right on. All right, well, we're signing off from the Underground Sound, the podcast for your mom's ass. Peace.